All right, let's get everybody else up in here before it's time to go. I've just given up on that T. That's probably the way to go. I feel like it doesn't come up anymore. So, all right, there we go. Welcome in, guys. It is April 4th. What is it, 2022? God, Lord only knows. It feels like we've been running in a fever dream for about 2 months now, but welcome in Monday, and it is time for an episode of Broncos for Breakfast. I am Nick Kendell and joined by, as always, Scott Kennedy. Happy Monday, Scott. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was very relaxing because my son is sick, so we had the weekend off, and I'm actually rested. I didn't do 30 hours at the ballparks this weekend, just only 2.
Well, there you go.
So
Nice.
feel good. I feel good. It feels like a Wednesday. Like for me, usually it takes me Wednesday to get going again. Here we go. Feel good.
Man, I am tired, but that's okay. I even went to bed early last night, but went out for Mexican food last night and had one too many margaritas, I believe, probably. So that's what's no, I'm okay. But it's been a while since I've done the whole at a Mexican place, man. I missed the chips and salsa. It was a good time. But yeah, guys, welcome. We got Ashton coming in at good morning. Off season feel like it's dragging along. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there have been 52 days since the Super Bowl. Yep, after the big wave of free agency, there are a couple waves. It's we've reached the grinding halt phase, and next big hurdle is the draft. I think the Broncos will be reporting for camp soon, if I'm not mistaken. I think a lot of the teams with new coaches are reporting this week, so don't quote me on that while I look it up here. But absolutely, it's kind of dragging along, but we're still having fun, and there's still a lot to discuss. So keep hanging out. We'll have a good time. Luke Wright also in the house. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Any plans for the draft? And Scott, you coming out to Vegas for it? So right now, I don't think there are any plans. There might have been plans prior to the Russell Wilson trade, but now the Broncos have less draft capital, so it's like, maybe not. Who
It
knows?
always was going to be a meet and greet anyway. You know, it was
Yeah,
always going to be a social event rather than a media event. There's not really much to cover that you can't
yeah,
do from your couch.
yeah.
Um, Real quick, Nick, before I forget, last night we did the raffle for the March jerseys, and it was a good day for the Broncos for breakfast crowd. Um, on YouTube, Ethan his name was drawn, and he will get a Russell Wilson jersey or jersey of his choice, but he already told me he wanted a Russell Wilson jersey. Second place on YouTube was Michaela. And then 2 big benefactors of the Broncos for Breakfast show, and hopefully they're on. We'll repeat it at the end just in case. But Jacob Foster, the silent one, was number 1. So make sure you connect with us, milehighhuddle@gmail.com. And Mark Schrader, milehighhuddle@gmail.com. Get a little care package. So I'm pretty sure Jacob wins a jersey, Ethan wins a jersey, and then Michaela and Mark got a little Broncos Mile High Huddle, Broncos for Breakfast type of care packages. So congratulations. And as always, here's to you. Thank you for your support.
Prost. And yeah, guys, welcome in. Luke's in the house too, and shout out. We have Ethan's in the house, but make sure you guys are following Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy, and I am at Nick Kendell MHH. And while you're coming in, make sure you hit the like button on the way and heart, like, react, whatever you want there. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Mile High Huddle and Huddle Up Pod, and at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. Also, please, YouTube folks, like, subscribe, and share. And let's keep saying hello to people in the chat. Ethan coming in. Good morning, afternoon, gents in Broncos country, and also morning to Luke. Mile High Truth's in the house, feeling a little grumpy this morning. Hope everyone's doing well. You got a case of the Mondays, right? Am I right?
Don't say it.
You're over here. Gosh, hopefully a little bit of Monday coffee and talking a little ball about
I
a
love
team
that scene from Office Space, by the way, when he asked him, he's like, would anybody at your job ever say, have you ever the case of Mondays? It was actually my friend's cousin who played that part. I can't remember his name, but he was in Beverly Hillbillies too. You know, he was the neighbor, the construction worker. And then he goes, no. And then it hits him again what he actually thought. So he's like, no, man. like your initial reaction, the reflex was like, no. And then it was just so offensive to him. Like, wait, no, man. I believe you can get your ass kicked saying something like that.
It's a good show. That's a good movie. Yeah, I will not move to a smaller office. You cannot take my stapler. Mark coming in. Good morning. Oh, the Michael Bolton part too. That's so funny. Mark coming in. Good morning, Broncos fans. Good to see you, Mark. Albert coming in. Alberto saying, morning, fellas in Broncos country. Just curious if you guys think we'll ever get new uniforms. I think it's time for a change. What do you think? I'm guessing a year from now or 2 years from now, there will be a new uniform update for the Broncos, and it's probably going to wait until new ownership comes. But a lot of people more in the know than myself keep hinting that with new ownership might come that change, that approval, that process and everything. So look out for it. It makes me a little bit uneasy because while I don't think the Broncos' current uniforms are great compared to what they were using in the 80s and 90s with the lighter blue and the D, I like the current Broncos uniforms enough that it could go horribly wrong. So I'm really hoping that they don't do anything too crazy there. But who knows? If they have a sponsor or a partnership with Nike doing it, it'll be fine. I think it's not going to be anything wilder than what the Seahawks have. I kind of like what the Seahawks have going on there, so it'll be cool.
I
Don't
just
look like
want
the
to see
Bears.
some different. Everybody goes. I swear, I see the Houston Texans. If they're in the reds, I can't tell if that's the Falcons in their reds. Sometimes I see the 49ers. I'm not sure if they're the Buccaneers. Everybody's gone so generic with these, the color schemes and then the swoosh logos. It's like, again, I know the get off my lawn, but I like the differentiation of them, the uniqueness. I love the old Denver D. I like the old Patriot. I like the swashbuckling Buccaneer. I do still like the Eagles, the Steelers.
The Kelly Green.
Of the newer, and I say newer, it's probably 30-something years old, but it did change because it just said Bengals. But I do like the Bengals Tiger Stripes. It's kind of cool. That's very different than when the Panthers and Jaguars came into the league. They have the exact same logo. I mean, it's like, and then everybody started copying them. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. But speaking of copying, Jacob, I hope you were here. The silent one, he wouldn't tell us if he did hear or not. But you did win a jersey. You won the Facebook raffle yesterday, coming back in with some more support. So awesome. Make sure you're connecting with Chad at milehighhuddle@gmail.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning to you, Jacob. EJ's in the house too. Good morning, Nick and Scott in Broncos country. Tisachi? I hope I pronounced that right. Let me know in the comments. But he says congrats to winning the raffle, DWI guys. We also got Jeremy coming in. Good morning, good people at Broncos country. Awesome to see you. Joey's in the house. Good morning, Broncos country. Stoked to work on my draft knowledge. Yeah, we'll get into some draft talk today. I think we should do let's do the Draft Network one today, just to kind of switch it up. We've done the Pro Football Focus one enough recently, so let's switch it up. Let's have a good vibes on this Monday, because the Pro Football Focus one, I feel like there's always going to be somebody fun at 64, unless you do the PFF mock, and then it's just pain.
You can game the PFF one a little bit also, because it's just percentages. Well, if you hit 25% chance enough times, it'll go through, if you just change it. So I was messing with it yesterday. I was like, all right, let me trade out 8. And I want your first, next year's first, and a 5th. And it was like 65%. I said, no. I'm like, all right, well, give me your 4th then. And it knocked it down to 45% and then accepted. I'm like, okay.
That's how we win.
That doesn't happen in the real world. But, when you're rolling dice, like, no, we're not giving you our 5th. All right, well, what about your 4th? Done.
You drive a hard bargain. But you know what? I like you. I like your chutzpah. Kathy's coming in. Jan, good morning all. Good morning to you, Kathy. Hello to all our Broncos. Mile High Huddle ladies. Dave Glassman's in the house. Good to see you, Dave. James in the house too. Good morning, Nick and Scott. And Kathy also reiterates congrats to Ethan, Michaela, Jacob, and Mark. Awesome to see. Fallen Sloth is in the house. Good morning, Broncos country. Bama X, good morning, Broncos country. Happy Monday. And Dave, we also said Rock Chalk, go Broncos. Who are you pulling for tomorrow? Or today? Holy bleep, it's today, isn't it? The championship?
I don't care. Did Kansas win? I didn't watch.
Yes, I think it's Kansas versus North Carolina.
No, we did a show when Duke and UNC was on. We were on a show, and then I went and watched Atlanta United. I watched soccer. I don't care. Yeah, it's fun. They're fun games. And I typically will watch March Madness because, as I've said before, it's not really March Madness. It's really who gives a damn until March. The way it's set up with the single elimination, everybody gets in tournament. So I'll normally watch it, but I didn't even get into it this year. My evenings and stuff are all taken up with y'all, so I don't have time to watch those things.
Yeah, no, definitely true. We got sunny days coming in. Short clips of Russ. We keep getting our awesome Let's Ride. Yeah, that's the dopamine that I need to get me through the rest of the offseason. Now that the biggest high of the draft has probably been doled a bit with losing the top picks, but I mean, God, I'll make that trade every time. KB82, Kenneth Booker coming in. Good morning. How surprised would you be if none of these quarterbacks drafted are starters in 3 to 5 years? I'd be pretty surprised, just because there's enough rotation of quarterbacks in general that you think somebody will get a chance somewhere. But and also probability. While this quarterback class isn't very high, there are 4 or 5 decent ones with enough caliber tools to start. I mean, you still have Jimmy Garoppolo set to start this year, Mitchell Trubisky. You think one of these guys will probably hit Which one? God, I'm so glad we don't have to keep debating that in Broncos country because heck if I know. But I think one of them will. Would it surprise me though if none of them did? I guess just a little bit. Just not a lot, but a little bit.
I wouldn't want to have to pick one. That's
Yeah.
the rub here.
Yeah.
Is, when I was doing recruiting rankings, you'd have a 2-star guy come up and be the guy. So you guys don't know what you're talking about. Look at Brian Urlacher. Well, 65 Power 5 schools missed on him too.
Yeah.
And if you take a class of 65 Brian Urlachers with his resume, and I take 25 5-star guys, I'm going to beat your behind. It is probability. So would I be surprised if none of them are? Because there's going to be 6 or 7 probably drafted. Yeah, I would. I think one out of those 7 at least, I would say one of them ends up being a pretty good guy. The hard part is figuring out which one of them takes that leap, because you're not working with the higher probability scenarios of all the tools and all of the things you normally look at. There's question marks. There's big question marks by all of them. Some of those will get answered. Again, it is probability. If I take enough shots, if I draft 7 quarterbacks, I'll end up with 1. But you can't do that. So I don't know. I don't advocate taking any of these guys too high. 15, above 15 is too high for me.
Yeah. From where we sit, I'd agree with you. I will say that if the Broncos didn't trade for Russell Wilson, I would be okay rolling the dice at 9 from Malik Willis.
I'd be okay.
Yeah.
But is that the pick I want to make?
It's a bad situation. You don't want to be in that situation to begin with.
It feels forced. And what are we talking about? It's like, you want to try and meet a need, but the worst thing you can do is reach to fill a need and then get a guy that can't play. Then you just wasted that pick.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble for me. So good question, Kenneth. Appreciate your support, and more support from Mark Schrader. Mark, thank you for your support as well. You of the care package winner. So make sure milehighhuddle@gmail.com. That will get to Chad. And again, we had just a lot of support for the morning show. And I think 3 of our 4 winners this weekend were primarily from Broncos for Breakfast. So thank you so much, including Chris Hernandez coming up with some stars. So appreciate you so much. Lots of good things coming. But yeah, probability, Nick. That's where I am with that one. Is there is no 100% way to do it. If there were, well, Nick Saban wins a lot of games. I always say, you'd have the same winners every time. There is no right way. There's different ways, and we're dealing with human beings, not numbers on a spreadsheet.
Man, Jeremy coming for Scott. I know it's a hoodie, but Scott looks like Steve Jobs this morning. He looks sleek. He looks like he's good to go. He's innovative.
You rarely see me. This is only like one of the second time in a year that y'all have seen me without a collared shirt on at home. I've done this on the road, but I had it out. I was wearing it this morning. I jumped in the shower. I'm like, you know what? I like this. I think it'll look nice and clean this morning. So I went with a hoodie.
Yeah, no, that's good look. What am I wearing? Oh, Iowa, of course. Good morning, fellas, from Miguel. Good to see you, Miguel. We got Eddie Frutos coming in. Yo, what's up, guys? Do you think bringing in Kyle Rudolph for veterans experience could help? That's a good name. Honestly, he's not been what he was. But if you're looking to solidify the tight end position, if you guys go back to last Thursday, Scott and I gave the Broncos tight end position the lowest grade on the offense. I think we gave him a D or D plus. And again, does that matter that much to me that that's the lowest grade? It's like you failed a pop quiz that is only 5% of your total grade or 2% of your total grade. Okay, you did bad there, but on the whole, you got an A on the final, which is your quarterback position. So don't fret too much. That being said, bringing in Kyle Rudolph, I think couldn't hurt. I don't know if he has any connections or experience with his coaching staff. And a lot of times players at his point in their careers go to familiarity. Like I've worked with coach so-and-so before. They're recruiting me to come here. I want to go work with them for the last time, but could see him coming to Denver, work with Russell Wilson and help the Broncos solidify that tight end room just a little further. That said, I think it probably would be something that is unless the Broncos get a bargain, I think a lot of the free agency moves that you see from them are going to be post-draft. I think they're going to see how the draft falls to them. And then let's say like they absolutely loved Trey McBride and he falls to 64. Well, then you don't need a Kyle Rudolph. Let's say they love Jeremy Ruckert and they take him at 96 or 96, 95, I think 96. Then they maybe don't bring in a Kyle Rudolph. So probably you need to see those kind of moves happen first.
So do you think that's a mistake the Broncos made last year with a couple of their moves, Nick?
Waiting until the draft is over?
No, by spending before the draft. So you're looking at some of the corners. You know, do you if you know you're going to get Pat Surtain, do you spend money on those corners on Darby and Fuller?
You needed all of them
If
last
you
year.
know you're going to get Javonte Williams, do you spend $3 million on a third string running back?
I don't have any real issues with any of the spending they did last year as far as the timing of it. The one that they missed on that I have an issue with is paying Kyle Fuller when hopefully they could have seen on the amount they did. What was it, 13 million on 1 year or 10 million on 1 year? For given his tape had fallen precipitously at Chicago. That was a misfire.
Again,
But
that's just a miss.
yes.
Yeah,
But the
it's
timing
like
wise,
I didn't have a problem with them spending the money. I had a problem with them spending the money on him.
yeah. Like in
that
hindsight, they would have been
that was
better.
a miss.
Yeah, they would have been better paying like Chidobe Awuzie or something like that, less money for 2 years versus what Kyle Fuller got in 1 year. And I get it. It's a guy that Vic Fangio worked with prior, and you're trying to do everything to empower Vic enough to save his job because that's your job as a general manager. You know, you don't want to go in there and blackball a guy before you've even worked with him. So that makes sense. But that was the only misfire last season. It was a 1 year deal, not a big issue at all. But so that was the one. It's like, if we could redo the offseason, that's a move that I wouldn't have had them done. Perry West coming in. That's a name I do not recognize. So welcome in, Perry.
Here you go. Read the comment.
Yeah. $10, longtime watcher, first time contributor. Thank you so much, Perry.
There you go. Thanks, Perry. Appreciate you being here.
And he asks, what do you guys think of Zyon McCollum, cornerback out of Sam Houston State? Well, he tested like an absolute freak at the NFL Combine. He's one of the few cornerbacks that did the agilities, and I think a lot of times the agilities are done like at a crazy time of day, like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., and you get it on the TV later. But he was one of the few who did. And I know a lot of coaches or trainers were saying, yeah, let's not do the agility, save it for the pro day when you're going to be at a better peak physical time of day, not 9 or 10 p.m. That's not when people are performing at their optimum athletic ability.
It's just when you have to play games.
Yeah. Yeah. But for the testing wise, Zyon McCollum still did the agilities. I think he was in the 95th percentile, better on all of them. The only area where he didn't test like a freak or measure like a freak was his arm length and his wingspan. He's a little bit shorter, but other than that, his athleticism is off the charts. He had a lot of ball production at Sam Houston State too. Granted, not a very high level of competition, and he should be dominating like he did, but he did dominate. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he went round 2. I think in Scott's and I's mock draft last week, we took him at pick 96, saying this is just too good of an athlete at a premium value position to not take here. So I'd be happy with him. I got to be honest with you though, I have not evaluated much Sam Houston State tape, even though Zyon is on my radar. Even less so, I haven't watched any all 22 of Sam Houston State because I'm not that much of a psychopath where I'm messaging a bunch of people saying, hey, give me that 2020-21 Sam Houston State all 22 tape. I need
Gotta
it.
have it. Gotta have it.
Haven't had time for that. But interesting player. Given his position, given his athleticism, if he falls to the Broncos at pick 75, 96, and you're looking for a cornerback, absolutely no issue with it. That's one of the positions where you bet on athleticism and traits more so than safety, interior offensive lineman, linebacker, et cetera, et cetera. That dude's a freak.
Yeah, you mentioned, we say that a lot.
But he is freak.
I mean, because I didn't have his the initial spreadsheet I built didn't have all of the stuff put into it, so I didn't realize he tested there. And I looked up his profile. I don't remember ever seeing a sub 6'5" L cone.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're out there, but I don't remember seeing one. I mean, you start seeing 6'8", 6'7", 5, 6'7", 6. Those are really good. He was 6'4", 8 on a 3 cone with a 40-inch vertical, sub 4 shuttle, 4.33. I don't know if they're training in quicksand down in Texas or what, but the boys from Texas flew in Indianapolis. The Baylor guys, Sam Houston State, Texas. I mean, there were University of. I mentioned last week when George Karlaftis skipped running and then ran up in Purdue in sub-freezing weather. I'm like, fire's agent. Everybody should have been begging to get on that track and run that night. So Zyon McCollum, 6'2", 200 pounds, 4.33 with a 40-inch vert and a sub 6'5" L cone. I'm real interested for sure. Good call out, Perry. Thank you.
And even more so, I mean, just the numbers sometimes don't mean very much, but when you put it into percentiles, this is against all players dating back to 1999 in the Combine. and I can tell you what the sample size is out of that in a second. But his 40-yard dash, 4.33, 98th percentile out of all athletes, not just cornerbacks.
Mhm.
Vertical jump, 40 inches, 95th percentile. Broad jump, 132, 97th percentile. 3-cone, 6.48, 99 percentile. 20-yard shuttle, 3.94, 98th percentile. So that is testing like an absolute freak. And that's out of about 7,000 testes. So not testers, I guess, not testes, but get your mind out of the gutter, Nick. What are we talking about?
Man, I don't know where your head is. Do you remember what you said on the last pod about, removing someone from your area, how you accomplish that?
I remember it was something about Josie Jewell.
Yeah, it was having to do with beating something.
You can beat guys off. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to sometimes enter your offensive lineman. That's the way it works.
It's too early for that.
Christian.
So this is like, PG. We're not even PG-13 yet at this hour of the morning.
No, that's as the coffee comes in, we're gonna get a little bit more R-rated. We got Christian coming in from Germany. Mandigan coming in. Mandigan Dan coming in from Mandango. That's better. Mandango Dan coming in from Ecuador. Ecuador, beautiful country. Jamal Killen's in the house. Hello, Jamal. Jamal got a new picture. Looking good.
I apologize, Jamal. Wanted to get back to Kenneth.
Let's get to Kenneth.
Kenneth asked, should we sign Tariq Cohen for a change of pace back and returner? He should be cheap. Chicago seemed to waste him when he was able to stay healthy. It seems like everybody is either being signed from the Titans or the Bears. I know that's my Atlanta bias kicking in, but I can see the Titans a little bit. They're 25-10 the last couple of years and, have had winning seasons like 5 or 6 years in a row. But why do the Bears keep having cast-offs that people are interested in?
Bad
misused
coaching.
Players?
Yeah, misused players. You're banking on that. That happens sometimes. That's one of the reasons I was interested in Isaiah Oliver, right? Buy low, maybe a former second-round pick coming from a bad organization right now. Not organization, bad roster like Atlanta. And then, grabbing them. But the Tariq Cohen, I think he's injured. I think he's lost a bit of his zip as well. And I know this might be not controversial, but this might be something that most people don't agree with. I'm not looking for the super specialized running back room. I want to have running backs that are almost redundant in skill set because that is a very injury prone position. And I don't want my entire offense to fall apart if, knock on wood, Javonte Williams gets injured. That is something that scares the heck out of me. And I know a lot of people, ideally, you have a running back who's a good pass catcher, you have a speed guy, and you have a power guy. Well, if you run 80%, 70% of your offense with the power guy and he has a lower body injury and misses 4 to 6 weeks, your offense is bleeped. What are you doing? So I'd rather have a little bit of redundancy in that room to save yourself from the floor of the running back position. That's just me, though. I know some people will disagree with that take, but that's where I'm at in today's NFL. I want my running backs to be good enough runners between the tackles that if you're in 11 personnel, the defense has to respect it and they can pass protect. Enough of a good runner that play action is still part in the wheelhouse and they're not going to get my running back killed. If you give me two guys that are 6 foot, 6'2", 220, 225 that can do that, God bless. Everything else is gravy.
The thunder and lightning approach works nicely just because, one, if you're trying to chase one guy down, he's got to be good. I mean, big and fast plays in any scheme. And then you're trying to work your way. If you can't find big and fast, okay, do I have big or do I have fast? I mean, you're working at traits. Big, fast, agile. Those are the top guys. Those are ones. And then you work down from there. So Nick did a pretty good job of talking about what you're looking for after your number one if you don't have those guys. Mark coming in with a good question here, and we'll find out who might surprisingly fall to us when we do our mock draft here in a few minutes. Says, hey, Nick and Scott with the big stars. If you had one guy that may surprisingly fall to us at 64, who would each of you pick?
One guy who might surprisingly fall to the Broncos at 64. Do you have one off the top of your head right now? I feel like
it depends. I mean, what's a surprise? I mean, if you look at NFL mock draft database, Travis Jones is sitting at 53.
I guess that's a good one. He won't fall, but that's one.
Yeah, if he did, if Christian Watson at 51, I don't think he goes below 40 now, honestly.
No.
Maybe Trey McBride could be interesting again as a number one tight end. Chad Muma could be right there as well.
I have a few names. Jalen Petrie from Baylor is one that's probably going to go in the top 50, but if he falls to 64, that maybe not would be the most surprising, but it could happen. I don't think Lewis sign Daxton Hill or
How about
Jaquan
David
Brisker.
Ajabo?
Maybe David Ajabo. That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
With David Ajabo's injury, unfortunately, I think
Mm-hmm.
you're probably out of the George Karlaftis not falling there. He might fall to early round 2, and that maybe that's somebody you can talk about moving up for, but not happening. Boye Mafe, probably not happening as well. Those are some names that interest me.
You said he's been falling and stuff, but I really like Perrion Winfrey. Perrion Winfrey at 64 to plug into one of those not Melvin Ajim people would be a decent pick at 300 pounds with, arms. He can reach over and, if he's got a problem with what's going on the other side of the nose guard, he can just reach over and tap him on the shoulder. He's got arms that are long enough. So that would be an interesting one for me. He's at 56 on mock draft database. I like Perrion Winfrey. He could be there. I think they have Abraham Lucas lower than that. So how big of a surprise would that be? But of the guys that are pretty consensusly 50 to 70, Abraham Lucas is probably my guy.
Yeah, another one to keep an eye on, because I'm just thinking pass rush right now, because the Broncos pass rush is, a balloon that could pop here. Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. I really love how he plays. He's a little bit short, but he's got really long arms for his size, good burst, relentless motor as well. Really good at Penn State this year. Penn State's always got some good freaks at the pass rush spot. He could be a very end first round kind of guy, or he could fall a bit with the depth of this class. We'll see.
Mark, the guy I want is it for the Denver Broncos at 64 is Abraham Lucas. That's for me a realistic shot of a player you could get in that spot. And Bronco Jedi coming in with the super has the same question. I got a similar answer. What prospect means best player available and a need? For me at 64, my guy is Abraham Lucas.
Yeah, he's a good one that makes sense. I also really like Logan Hall. I know that you don't agree as much based on the Senior Bowl, but his tape at Houston is very good. And a lot of people I talk with very high on him. And if you're looking for a 5 technique that can do a lot of twists and stunts and relentless pass rush motor as well, still scratching the surface, some versatility on that defensive line as well, I would be really interested to see what kind of formations you could use with him rushing the passer from the other 5 technique spot. I'd rather have a bigger body guy who can do a little bit of gap and a half stuff there at that spot. But again, those are some names to keep an eye on. Who knows? I mean, tackle, defensive lineman, defensive back, offensive tackle. If you can get any of those, I'd be very happy with that.
So Mark comes in. How about Nicholas Harbor? All right. I posted this on my Twitter page last night. Retweet. I'm not even going to point him out.
Make it
because at there you go. 6'5", 230, you'll find him.
He's number 3. It's easy to see. He's the giant.
See, he's a little slower off the line, but wait when he gets stretched out. That's insane.
Yeah.
That was really cool. His kid almost caught, he's still faster than his son. Good God.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
It's
cool.
got almost 1 million views. I saw it last night. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, Mark.
That is awesome.
I think I just titled that. Good God, man.
Yeah, and let's say hello to some people that came in that we didn't just because we want to say hello if you're joining us this morning. Make sure you drop a like on the way in, guys, as well. Jamal Killens, good morning to you, Jamal. CC's in the house. Morning, Nick and Scott in Broncos country. Hope you guys are doing great. It's Monday, but we're doing good. Chris Hernandez also came in with support here. Thank you so much, Chris. Good to see you. John Boy coming in. Howdy, fellas. Beautiful day here in North Dakota. Go Broncos and let's go Heels. There we go. See, there's some stuff going on tonight. Clayton Huron, morning, guys. And also he says, smash that like button and share, guys. Sorry, I missed a few shows. Was on vacation. You don't listen to us on vacation? You listen to us in the shower, but you won't listen to us on vacation? What's going on here? No, totally fine, Clayton. I want you to get away. Sometimes we need a break. Kayleon coming in
with all the talk that Nick's been talking about. It's dirty talk. Kayleon, good morning. Appreciate you being here. Lawrence coming in with some stars. Said, I've been trying to find ways to land the tight end out of Colorado State. He's a big weapon for the red zone. We'll miss that position if we don't fill it. Again, I'd be okay with Trey McBride at 64.
Yeah.
It was the lowest grade, and I actually meant to say this earlier and forgot about it. It's also the easiest one to fix. You know, tight end, you can get competency at tight end pretty cheap.
It's like linebacker.
Some good pass catchers, so while it's a D right now, it's pretty easy to improve. It's a whole lot easier to improve in tight end than it is at left tackle or quarterback or edge, one of those positions. Tight end, you can get serviceable pretty easily and move that up to a C for relative peanuts. But Trey McBride could be very interesting. Ran in the 4.5s. Good size, big hands. I really liked him at the Senior Bowl, so he'd be a pick I could get behind for sure.
Yeah, he ran faster than I thought he would with his tape, so that always makes you question things a bit. But 64, I don't love the value, and I also think that with the Broncos, given EPA per play versus expectation or the league average, sorry to get really nerdy here with the data, but Russell Wilson doesn't really utilize the tight end that much compared to other positions. He prefers the wide receivers outside the hash marks down the field. So I don't think you one reason that the Broncos probably were okay trading Noah Fant to begin with was because he was going to be less utilized and less valuable in this offense with Russell Wilson going forward. So he had more value elsewhere moving on from him. Still a good player, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and he had career highs in yardage and catches last year, but it was all like meh. There wasn't anything that, the WAR, the wins against replacement's a great stat. And if you were to replace this with an average guy, what would have changed? It's better for baseball because there's 162 games instead of 17
sample size.
But what would have what would have changed? Nothing. Noah Fant didn't do anything last year that an average NFL tight end couldn't have done. So making that replacement, giving him up, you're not losing a ton. You're losing the opportunity, the opportunity cost, and it's that hope of what he could be that scares us. But what he was okay. He was okay. He was an average level tight end for the first 3 years of his career. It just scares you that he could be so much more. I don't want to give up on this.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of athletes, though, that I think day 3 for tight ends, the way you should lean. If Jeremy Ruckert's there at 96, I might have a hard time not pounding the table for him because he's a butt kicker as a blocker. And he's got enough of an athlete that you have to pay attention to him in the pass game as well. So that's the world that I want to live in 11 personnel. If your tight end's good enough to kill a single linebacker and make teams have to play cover 3 or roll a safety down, then you get a statistic or a schematic advantage. But some names to keep an eye on here. There's a very good tight end class. The deeper you go, a lot of potential tight ends 2s through tight end 4s. But Cade Otton, a lot of people sleeping on him. He had an injury, but he was really good here out in Seattle for Washington. Jelani Woods tested like an absolute freak. I know Scott's probably got Jelani Woods on his radar. He caught a bleep ton of footballs for touchdowns for Virginia this last year. I really like Charlie Kohler out of Iowa State's been a solid player there for them for a number of years. Daniel Bellinger, great blocker in this class. If you're looking for a blocking tight end, he's probably my favorite late in the draft. And also there's Okonkwo at Maryland, a little bit more of a F tight end, but he tested pretty well as well. And people are sleeping on Jake Ferguson a tad. I thought he's a solid player. He's definitely your classic chain mover. But I can tell you, watching a lot of Big Ten West football, Jake Ferguson absolutely drove me insane because every third down, the dude was making some sort of good catch or making a play. He's also I believe, the grandson of Barry Alvarez, the former Wisconsin head coach for a long time. There now he's, I think, the dean of football operations or something there. So got football in his blood as well. So there's some good deep tight ends in this class.
So Ethan coming in with the pounds, saying, "What's your take on Tyrann?" I've heard his name said so many times. Mathieu.
I say Mathieu, but
Mathieu. As an
Honey
addition,
Badger.
how does he fit, assuming the price is right? And would it be better than just signing K-Jax? Player for player, I would rather have the Honey Badger. I think he brings you more. I think heart and soul. Kareem Jackson just is a dude. I love the way he goes out and plays, regardless of the situation. But that could also be a liability too. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's a bit of a liability. As far as pure playmaking and difference maker on the field, I'd rather have the Honey Badger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's more versatile than Kareem Jackson right now. And if you're looking to play dime, he can play in the slot or the box and be a pretty good player. His best role in the NFL has been that robber role in a cover 1 or cover 3 kind of scheme where he can come down and play the box and hang and watch the quarterback's eyes. And if you're looking to live in dime, that's a skill set that you want and need. Also, you talk about K-Jax being a dog, he is, but so is Tyrann Mathieu. So I would have no issue with paying him. It always, of course, like Ethan said here, assuming the price is right, that's what you're waiting on here. But if you want versatility in the back end and you want to be able to do a bunch of different things without changing a bunch of different looks and different types of zone concepts without changing your personnel, then having somebody like Mathieu to pair with Simmons on the back end, and then Patrick Surtain, Ronald Darby. I mean, you have a lot of versatilities, experience, and just quality play if you did that. I think Tyrann Mathieu would make a lot of sense. If they brought him in, that'd be great. I would still be nervous because I think the spot where the Broncos have the lowest floor right now is the edge rusher spot, at least the spot where it's going to make the biggest difference on the roster. I think the floor of the edge rusher spot, I mean, you are quickly going to easily and quickly could go to the same starting duo last year that was not good enough for you in Jonathan Cooper and Malik Reed. That would not get it done in the AFC West this year. But Mathieu, I mean, gosh, good player. That'd give you probably one of the best 5 secondaries in football this season if you brought him in.
So, and appreciate the support, Ethan, as always. Without a doubt, it's a new month. Same DWI guys.
Yep.
And Jedi, we still love you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know it was a similar back-to-back. Mark's got in just at the nose, but we still love you. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep saying hello to some people in here. Wanted to say hello to who was it? Oh yeah, this is the one that. Oh gosh, where'd it go? Peter Middleton's in the house. That's who we wanted to say hello to. Peter, hi all. Hope you're doing well in Cambodia. Really fun to see all of the international people in here today. Israel, Cambodia, Ecuador, Germany, et cetera, et cetera. Just let us know where you guys are coming from. It would be, it's always fun to see our international peeps. Paul in the house, not international, but Paul and I go way back. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Good morning to you, Paul. Hope you're doing pretty well. And let's get into the main topic here for today's episode.
I was about to say, you know what? We're not like up against the bell. Maybe we should do the draft now that we have some time, but we haven't actually gotten into the main topic, have we?
Yeah, no, not yet.
37 minutes.
Yeah, gosh. Well, it's so much to talk about. A lot of fun to hang out with you guys. I want to say hello to everybody too. And if we hadn't yet, scream at us in the bottom. Brian says we're freaking hilarious. Hopefully by choice, not by bad
hopefully
takes.
It was us, not
yeah.
He wasn't talking to somebody. We're taking credit for that comment in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. But number one topic conversation today, who will emerge as the Broncos' number one wide receiver? And we got Stash Brannigan coming in over on Twitch. Shout out to our Twitch folks saying, easy answer, Tim Patrick catches anything within his reach and out of it, blocks, goes 100% every play. So thank you so much, Staff Brannigan, for your comment here. And over on Twitch, make sure you guys are checking us out on Twitch as well. I think Tim Patrick is a good answer. I will say, though, that drops sometimes can be a little bit, they can fluctuate year to year. It's kind of like turnover. Some of it's luck and just bad things happen sometimes. But last year, I think Tim Patrick led the Broncos in drops with 6. So I know he had 0 drops the year before and he's making a living off of that. But last year, not as good with the drops. I think he had 6 of them, which was pretty high compared to league standards. So it's also his blocking grade for PFF dropped a little bit as well. But he's a consistent player. He's really good. He's going to be a very good wide receiver for the Broncos. I think number one for me, though, is Courtland Sutton. He's coming. This is year 2 coming off the significant ACL injury. And you guys keep hearing me hint about the usage of potential concerns with Jerry Jeudy over the middle of the field, potential not utilizing the tight end to the extent that the Broncos are like, maybe even though it is a weakness, it's not a big deal because you're not going to be using that position as much in that area of the field. It's the opposite for Courtland Sutton. Down the field, YOLO balls, go up and catch it, separating vertically, posting guys up, down the field, outside the hash marks. That's where Russell Wilson lives. And I think Courtland Sutton is going to be a year healthier. He's definitely, while he maybe doesn't, I don't think he's linearly as explosive as Tim Patrick. I think he's more nuanced and in control in the air, better body control, going like rebounding a basketball kind of talk. So I think Courtland Sutton's going to emerge as the number 1 this year. You paid him like I guess you paid him like a number 2, given what the market at wide receiver is like. But I think he's right now paid like the number 1 guy. And I'm expecting a big season from Courtland Sutton. I think people should go back to what Courtland Sutton looked like in his rookie season and remember what healthy Courtland Sutton was. I mean, he was being talked about like emerging as one of the top 10, 15 wide receivers in football after that season. Had the injury early against Pittsburgh 2 years ago. I think that was week 2, and just wasn't always 100% last year, besides that Jacksonville game where he got a big utilization. The Broncos this year should be able to better attack vertically. Last year, they had the offense that had the most defenders in the box per play than any other team in football. So that's a shout out. And it got worse, actually. Everybody's like, oh, that's Teddy Bridgewater's weaker arm. It actually got worse when Drew Lock came in, which is goes against what you'd think data-wise. So that should not be as much of an issue this year. all this to come back around to say I think it's Courtland Sutton. But if you want to argue Tim Patrick, I'd hear it as well.
Yeah, I'm I'm on the same boat with Courtland Sutton, and for me, it's the talent and the health. 2,000 yards in his first 2 years, and his average of he had 17 yards per carry and 15.4 yards per carry. So he's got the explosion. What are one of my biases, Nick? 6'4" wide receivers that can run and jump and have body control. He's that guy. You're going to work the outside, and it's not just the physical ability that he should be physically better coming off that knee injury. Mentally, he should be stronger now too. It shouldn't even be in his mind anymore. After a full year of playing on, and he should just be gone, and he should be back to where he was in 2019 when he made the Pro Bowl. He was a Pro Bowl in his second year. So for me, I like Sutton, and then work your way down from there. Split it then between Patrick and Jerry Jeudy. I do think Jerry Judy's going to get plenty in there, and he should be a run after the catch type of guy. They will find ways to get him involved. Slip screens, jet sweeps where they actually use him. But no, they'll find ways. And I've said before, I think that Jerry Jeudy could end up being the first option on broken plays because he'll be in the middle of the field. He'll be working his way back. He's got the quickness to be elusive there. So any type of extended play like that, it could be really, really good for Jerry Jeudy. But Courtland Sutton's my pick for the Broncos' #1 receiver when it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, he should be great this year. I'm excited for all of them. And we talk about the #1 wide receiver, but Broncos country, it's not too long ago. I know it's felt like 20 years, but when the Broncos were operating at their prime with Peyton Manning in that 2012 to 2014 era, you did have Demaryius Thomas as your #1, but he wasn't the #1 every week. When you have enough quality matchups, especially with a veteran quarterback, if your offensive schemers are good enough to prepare week by week, you can have different games where you target different guys in different matchups based on what the other team likes to do and based on what the other team's personnel is. So maybe one week it's a Tim Patrick week because the cornerback that's paired up against him doesn't match up well against him. Maybe one week.
Sean Moreno caught 60 balls out of the backfield that year too.
Yeah, that was an offensive juggernaut. That was
there was a lot. There was a lot of completions. They had over 100 more completions than the opposition in that season. So. Yeah, it was that must have been a lot of fun to watch. 4 guys in double digits in touchdowns. What's that feel like?
It was amazing. The 2013 season, that was a lot of fun while it was happening.
Spreading the love. You can have your favorite, with Eric Decker, a 1,300 and an 11, and then Bebe with 1,414.
Yeah.
And then here comes Wes
Julius
Welker
Thomas
with just 810.
Yep.
So wow.
That was a good year. This is a good time. I don't expect that Broncos country. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to come in and challenge for the all-time single season passing record. But again, you have the weapons where week by week, as long as your offensive schemers are, worth their brains, which they should be fine. But it's kind of a wait and see proposition for the offensive coaches because we don't know. But
we were talking last night about Noah Fant's comments about having a defensive coach. And not doing so well. Well, who else had a defensive coach, one of the newer additions to the Denver Broncos for his entire career? Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Russell Wilson's put up really good numbers, had a great career. If he quit now, he could be a possible Hall of Famer. I mean, he's had that good of a career so far. And Pete Carroll is, everybody, he's a defensive guy, as much as West Coast guys can be. But this should really be the first time that he's got a like-minded individual at head coach philosophy where they just want to turn him loose. It's like we want to outscore everybody. That's what the head coach is going to be thinking. It could be a really fun time this year if everything comes together. So, yes, you want to play defense, but I have a feeling Hackett wants to score every time he gets the ball, not just maybe we can grind out some possessions and keep it close and kick a field goal at the end. Oh,
yeah. I'm really curious to see what it looks like as well. And I'm very excited to see what Russell Wilson looks like in more of a potentially an RPO-centric offense, especially when you have Javonte Williams on the side there. It might make your edges a little bit softer rushing the quarterback, might give you a little bit more time. And there's going to be a lot of speed outs. The one-for-one copy-paste of what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers, I don't think is replicable with the Broncos because they used a lot of dagger routes over the middle of the field. And again, Russell Wilson thrown over the middle of the field with his height is something that we haven't seen consistently in his career. Just is what it is. So Who knows? But a lot of RPOs, a lot of quick outs, and I'm curious to see how they can create space down the field to, especially outside the hash marks, for Russell Wilson to attack. There's a reason his completion percentage over expected is always astronomically higher than everybody else. It's because he's not getting the layup routes over the middle of the field that a lot of those guys are getting, and lowering their completions perspective over, or lowering their CPOE, because those are higher percentage routes. It's kind of like a 3-point shooter. He's shooting blank. His actual shot percentage is way higher than expected, but he's only shooting 3-pointers, so he's not getting the actual layups. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really curious to see what the offense looks like. I will admit I'm much more of a defensive scheme head than I am offensive. I prefer trying to solve those kind of problems on my end. So I'll have to dig a little bit more into what Justin Outen and Nathaniel Hackett want to do, but it'll be a lot of fun either way, and a lot of options. Personnel should not be an issue, I guess, is the bottom line here, which will be a lot of fun.
You about ready to get into a draft?
Yeah, let's do it. And Clayton, we see you. How's offense going to rank and defense going to rank? Hopefully both of them top 10. I definitely think that the Broncos offense on paper is better than the defense right now.
So let me share screen. Go over to this side. Then we got a zoom. I'm going to try and bring this over here so you're not looking at the side of my head the whole time we're doing this.
All right, so we are picking for the Broncos, obviously. And can you make it go faster? Is that a thing? Because
it is on fast.
That is fast. All righty.
Yeah,
well,
this is the fast setting. And as soon as I hit start, it started. Let me.
Oh man, Chiefs went Daxton Hill and David Ojabo back-to-back picks there for the Kansas City.
I want to move this. I want to move us over here, and I want to move this in front of my camera, so when I'm looking at it, you're not looking at the side of my head here.
All right. Well, I'll get this chat from David here real quick.
Okay.
What do you guys think about Rachaad White as an option for the Broncos day 3? I think it's possible. I think his running style is weird. He's got a big gait and plays pretty upright, which makes me think that his ability to bounce off contact is going to be a problem for him. Almost looks like a wide receiver playing running back, and I don't mean that as a compliment for his running style. But I'm definitely interested in him day 3. He's a good athletic tester, and I think he's got some good ability as a receiver out of the backfield. So there's some versatility there.
But it compresses it so much. I have to put it over here. Sorry, guys. You're gonna just have to look at the side of my head.
Well, your side of your head's beautiful, Scott. It looks like you bathed today, so that's great.
Yeah.
We got CC also coming here. Wonder if Sam Williams can develop into a guy we can count on as a fourth option. Seth Williams, excuse me, fourth option at receiver, especially if injury concerns with Hamler. Definitely possible. I think he was much more drafted as a just in case the Broncos lose Courtland Sutton and Tim Patrick. Now that they retained him, I don't really know the exact fit for Seth Williams in this offense, but injuries happen. He's got to make himself valuable in special teams too. I think that's the biggest thing for him to see the field. So we got the draft now. The Broncos are on the clock with pick 64. And of course, as the Broncos set it up here, and as Pro Football, the Draft Network tends to do, they make me sad because always the top picks are running backs. So all of these other positions are coming off the board, and they lean extra hard into the running backs don't matter, because I don't think Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall are either going to be here at this selection. But here we are. So we're drafting now. We got some options here. Chad Muma is interesting. We got Josh Pascal here. We also had Trey McBride, and I think your names kind of drop off a cliff after that, in my opinion. I really like Leo Chanel, also as an option there. But all in all, I don't think this is a terrible board. There's Abraham Lucas.
89.
Yeah, we can keep him in our back pocket for now, I think.
Yeah, we can get him later.
So the way it's set up right now, I'm gonna have a hard time saying that the best player on the board isn't one of those two running backs, which hurts me a bit. But I think Isaiah.
Yeah, I'd rather go with Pascal again. We take him a lot in that spot.
Yeah, I think in the end we should actually go with Trey McBride just to see what it kind of looks like when we take the tight end that everybody's screaming about that they want. And hometown kid, I think it's better for the narrative, but it makes sense here. Trading up for Trey McBride from 64, I think is dumb. But taking him there at 64, you're looking for a guy who can live in 11 personnel. They talked about Albert Okwuegbunam being more of a hybrid player. That to me sounds like 12 personnel, 21 personnel. So I think Trey McBride is a good pick here for the Broncos.
And did you see who went the very next pick?
Was it Abraham Lucas. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
There
sometimes
goes
it'd be
my-
like that.
So what have we said before? If you like a guy, take him.
Yep.
Take him. Don't wait on him to come down like that.
But a little bit of a fun to
Change
kind of
of
talk about.
pace. Now
Change of pace.
let's go. I'd go Pascal here. I liked him at the previous spot. He's still here. You need edge. You got a tight end. You upgraded the tight end room for sure. We need some depth at edge. Josh Pascal here is really good. I'd like to take him.
Can we see who else went though? Just on the over here. Kirby Joseph there's Chad Muma. Logan Hall is an option too. I like a lot. John Mechie. Good. Hey, good for your Falcons. John Mechie's a good pick there for you guys.
Yeah, 74. I like that one.
Yeah, I don't have any issue here. I'm going with Josh Pascal. I think he's a very high floor player and would be good. I also, honest to God, with either of these Broncos' last two picks, I know that I am a meme at some point with the running backs don't matter, but Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall at pick 64, 75, zero qualms from me. You want cheap, cost controlled, and really to solidify that. Go do it. Yeah, but I honestly, I don't have any issue with it. Just for the conversation of it. So Pascal, good pick there. We'll see who's on the board when the Broncos pick again. But I really like both those running backs. If either of them are there, I'm interested.
I like Burford, Spencer Burford, a little bit out of UTSA.
Oh yeah, I like him a lot
Jones,
better.
We've talked about several times.
There goes Breece Hall. Ooh, Breece Hall with the Cardinals is fun. Sam Williams,
Patriots.
Good job.
You know, when you've got a guy that's won as much as Belichick in a program, you can take chances. Nobody's going to question you on Sam Williams. Yep. And if it doesn't work, I can get rid of him. So Darian Beaver's a good player. I know you like Leon Chenal also.
Ooh, Troy Anderson.
I'd go Troy Anderson before I'd go those guys.
Yep. Keep scrolling down. Let's see who we got here. I do really like Fedarian Mathis, who they still had available there. Did Alontae Taylor come off the board? He must have. Okay, well that's too bad.
Yeah,
there he is.
91 to the Bucks.
Damn, I really love Alontae Taylor. He's probably actually my favorite slot guy in this. Wait a second, scroll down. Oh, never mind. Okay, it said Tyreek Smith. I thought it said Tyler Smith. I was like, take Tyler Smith. What's he doing here? He's already gone.
I like Troy Anderson in this spot.
Wait a second, scroll down again. I thought maybe I saw him. Tyler Batty. Nope, never mind.
Never mind. No more Tylers for you.
No more Tylers. Yep.
I do like I like Anderson in this spot.
Troy Anderson? I agree with you. Let's go with Troy Anderson. Add some athleticism.
Could use a linebacker with his skill set. I mean, who couldn't really?
Mm-hmm.
Kid can fly. He's a pure football player. Love him.
Also, projects really well as a special teams contributor early on. So.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Again, he's a pure football player. He can do a lot of things. This is where we go back to back.
Yes, it is. Man, look how high up Ariza is. We're not going to take a puncher that high. Round 4.
You know, this isn't a bad place to look at another edge, though. Did you see that Sanders was back up his 20 pounds that he lost between Senior Bowl and Combine? He was sick, and he lost 20 pounds in the month of February. I guess that would have been.
Did he test again?
At his pro day, he was back up to his. He put that 20 pounds back on and had a good day.
He did test again at his pro day?
He did. At least weight. I saw that, and he was back up to like 244.
Okay, that always kind of concerns me. I know that the sickness had.
I really like this kid. I don't know if we want to go edge again. Couldn't hurt. I really like D'Angelo Malone. Y'all have heard me say that before.
I like D'Angelo Malone too. Alec Pierce.
Damian Pierce is a solid running back. Literally, he's like 5'10", heavy and round, and can move. I like him for looking for a running back.
Keep scrolling. I'm just curious.
Again? We get to pick 2. Remember?
Yep, we get 2.
There's a return man. 4-3 guy. He's a little older, but that's okay. One contract.
Yeah. Let's keep
scrolling
Rashad
down. White.
Jerome Ford, John Ridgeway down there as well.
John Ridgeway is an interesting pick. I'm surprised he's this low. A nose guard from Arkansas goes about 325. Mm-hmm. Would add some depth there for the middle. I like that pick too. And then as we start getting a little lower than this, I figure we can get him with another pick. Yeah,
I think that at this point, did you see Braxton Jones?
I didn't, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there.
Okay. We do. I am looking for offensive tackle, hopefully at some point here.
There he is.
Here's Braxton Jones. I think he's a good pick here. I know it's 153 on the board, but I'm not looking to get cute. I like his body type.
No, Braxton Jones is a good player. I like him a lot. He's underrated here. He's one of those guys. He will go higher than 153. I'd bet a lot of money on that.
Yeah, so let's go Braxton Jones.
Okay.
on one of these picks, and we're back up again. Can we look at the cornerbacks and safeties? Let's look at safeties first. Yeah. Dane Belton, and then Brian Cooks, JT
I'm
Woods.
looking at JT Woods down here when it comes
I
up
love
this
Brian
time.
Cook too. Yeah. I think we can wait on that. There's enough good bodies there. And can look at cornerback as well. Kobe Bryant, Jack Jones, Josh Jobe. Nope, this is unfortunately a little bit of a minefield here. Not great. That's why you want to take cornerbacks early. Those guys come off the board.
Who did I say? I like
I'd be fine with Sanders or Doug Malone. Either of those guys, I agree with you. Yep.
I'm gonna go D'Angelo here.
Let's do it. I really like D'Angelo Malone.
Yep, I like his upside. Very, very twitchy's become the word. I used to say bouncy. He's got some just bounce to his step.
Got some burst.
Yeah.
They both have chutzpah, says Brian Dunn, moxie. So and Spencer Monroe saying we don't need safeties. The Broncos want to play more 3 safety sets this season, and right now your third safety is Jamar Johnson, who absolutely bleep about. So yeah, you probably do want another safety out there if possible. And Caden Stearns last year, the more snaps he got, the worse he looked. So I'm concerned about that second safety spot, let alone the third safety spot.
Is this a kid
on this defense.
You like, or Zeke, or it's a?
Oh yes, I do like him a lot. He's for a 5 technique. And have we gone defensive line yet?
We haven't.
Oh my God, Cam Jurgens is down here too. That's silly. Just take Cam Jurgens. I know that I really like the Iowa State guy, but Cam Jurgens is going to go top 100. That's silly to get him down there. We'll see who else is still there on the defensive back side of things when we cook. There goes Brian Cook. I liked him a lot. JT Woods just went as well. But yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely Cam Jurgens there for me. Also, Jeremy calling out Zach Tom would have been a good pick there as well. We took him last time, but let's go with Cam Jurgens because Lloyd Cushenberry has been a consistent bottom 5, bottom 10 center so far.
We have a gap after that pick, don't we?
Yeah, they don't pick until late round 6. So it's got a while to go. But Cam Jurgens down there is a steal. So I don't even worry too much about that there. He shouldn't be down there. So now we're on the board again. I really like Marquise Bell.
You want some speed? How about Tyquan Thornton?
He's a good one. I'm looking for a little bit more special teams. There's Daniel Bellinger.
He's running 4.3s. I mean,
yeah, he's
make him a gunner and a return guy.
Sure. The Broncos have also been, this is something to keep an eye on, guys. Broncos have been doing a lot of work on day 3 wide receivers so far. So then
Tyler Carter's not a bad player down there either. Guard. No. He was a Senior Bowl kid.
We did just take an interior offensive lineman.
Yep.
So can you scroll back up?
Yep.
I think we're far enough now. We already took 2 edges. There's Barno.
Yeah, Murray Barno is a good player.
I really do like Matt Hankins because he's Iowa, but I think he's going to be a good player there. We already took an edge. I like Marquise Bell a lot as well at Florida State, but if you want to take Tyquan Thornton,
I want to miss on a guy that runs 4.2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Him and JT Woods are kind of these late round guys that I really like.
The athletes. No, let's do it.
Yeah, the traits guys. If you're gonna miss on a guy running 4.2 something.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more of Tyquan Thornton?
Yeah, let me pull this up. Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver. Let me see what he measured. Tyquan, 6'2", 181, a little light, 4.28 with a almost an 11-foot broad jump and a 37-inch vertical. Hands are a little on the smaller side. Usually make those guys corners. But arm length, 33 and change, 8.5, 6'2", 4.28. He was the one that had like a 4.1 unofficially when they were timing it. So again, traits, special teams, make this guy a gunner, make him a kick return guy, and bring him in as a 4th or 5th wide receiver to compete.
Yep. All right. Well, we're looking probably now just best player. They're talking about round 7. Forget needs, whatever they are, it doesn't even matter. Amari Carter, another safety that interests me there. Can we look at the running backs? This is an area where I think running back would be a good pick for the Broncos.
I like Devontae Price at FIU.
Devontae Price is a good one. I really like Ty Chandler.
Okay.
Out here, he's a former 5-star kid from Tennessee, transferred to North Carolina this last year, and I thought he looked really good there. And I was looking to see if do you see the Rutgers guy on here? I don't see.
Maybe he got
drafted.
Bottom of the barrel down here.
I know a lot of people are screaming for Zyon McCollum, but for the integrity of the draft, I'm going to say no to that. We already kind of had some, oh man, you already got Cam Jurgens down there. I don't want this to be completely useless. So that is Zyon McCollum is going to go in the top 100. I think that would be pretty silly to take him here, even though people are screaming for him. The Broncos have been working out running backs. The reason I brought up running back is because they brought in Pashenko from Rutgers for a visit, and they are definitely looking for a running back to compete with Mike Boone, given he is a relative unknown. So Mike Boone might be fine, but you're talking about filling out the room here with a
You need
competent
3.
body.
You got to have 3, and we're talking about our 232nd pick here, folks.
Yep. And actually, I see the name I want. I want Armar Davis, Alabama, tradesy guy. He should not be down here. I don't know why he's this far down. He's not been a starter for that long for Alabama, but height, weight, speed, some I think inside outside ability too. Very good player. And I think he was it Chad Reuters? Does that name mean anything to you, Scott? Works for NFL. Okay, he does like a lot of the bigger mocks. And Chad Reuters mocked Armour Davis to the Broncos round 4. So to get him round 7, silly. That's way too good. So, and I just have Reese Scott coming in saying this is an unrealistic mock site. They're all unrealistic. They're just fun to talk about. And it's more about the NFL or just the thought process of going through these picks here. So, Scott, why don't you roll through it and let's talk about a little bit about who we came away with and why we went the way we did.
We'll get out of here in just a couple minutes. I think we're at 1 hour on the nose.
Yep.
So pick 64, we went tight end Trey McBride. Yep. We were talking about the last week when we did grading of the offense. That was probably our
weakest spot.
So that's an immediate upgrade. Trey McBride is looks to be tight end 1 in this class. Could be the first tight end taken to get him at 64. 4.5 guy, good size, really high production. Our second pick, we took Josh Pascal, edge rusher, Kentucky.
Yeah, good. I gotta find this ad now before we get on out of here. So you keep running through. I need to find the Josh Pascal advertisement.
One of my favorite picks. I know people want to talk Chad Muma a lot, but Troy Anderson for me is a better prospect at this stage of his career. I think he's a little bit more instinctive. I think he's got a little bit more athleticism. So I'm a big fan of Troy Anderson coming in here. You're looking at another linebacker that can push for a starting position right away. Helps give you a little bit more edge, more depth at edge, because you can now think of I can really start thinking about Baron Browning rushing the passer and passing situations as well. And then Braxton Jones. It's been a while since. Let me bring up Braxton Jones. It's been a while since we showed him.
Yeah.
I like Braxton Jones a lot. Coming out of Southern Utah, he was at the Senior Bowl. So let me bring up cuts. Braxton Jones. This was Braxton Jones at the Senior Bowl, left tackle. That's D'Angelo Malone right there, number 10, getting whooped. But I like the motor on him too.
Yeah, no, he's also got the build. Unlike Matt Waleska, who we looked at earlier.
This is Amari Barno, who we passed on. One of the reasons I did, that's just swallowed.
Yeah,
he just got eaten up. We say let's eat. I think he just ate Amari Barno. Good height on him too, good length. Right tackle here. This is Barno again. So can he play right? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. So this is about 3 minutes. You can see all of it on my YouTube page. I think this is Kingsley Enagbare coming off the right edge this time at left tackle. Maybe a hold there.
Lunging a little bit.
And then he actually left tackle again. I think this is Enagbare again out of South Carolina. Drives him out of there.
There you go. That's a good one. That was a good one.
Really nice. Really nice. So to get Braxton Jones at 115,
yeah,
I think he could absolutely compete.
Yeah.
Not that one, dummy. That one. I think he could compete for a starting spot at right tackle. And then we saw D'Angelo Malone going back to back. This is for me a little bit more of a longer term. I like the athleticism that he brings. We saw Braxton Jones beat him there, but D'Angelo had his days as well. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, and then from here, Cam Jurgens. Some people in the comments saying, "Oh, we have a terrible center." Cam Jurgens comes in and probably starts day one.
he's a great athlete. Some people, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah saying some people in the NFL have him higher than Tyler Linderbaum and expect Cam Jurgens go in the top 50, top 60 of the draft. So that's robbery there. That's the pick that's probably the least realistic of all these ones we got there. But that's why I couldn't do it with Zyon McCollum too. But Tyquan Thornton, height, weight, speed guy, vertical offense. I haven't watched too much Baylor offense. I probably should because they use the outside zone stretch a lot, and Iowa could probably figure out how to modernize their outside zone stretch. So I should figure out what they're doing offensively. But height, weight, speed guy, probably a good fit if you're looking for vertical and speed in this offense. So fine with that. And Jalen Armour Davis, solid player, athlete, still coming into his own. That's a good area down there to take. So overall, didn't fit every need, hit every need there. Looking for probably another defensive back there, but you hit a developmental tackle, you got a center. Also didn't get a running back, but not enough picks to hit every single position on the field. Definitely feel solid coming away with that. And I'll save the Josh Pascal video for another time because it's a minute and 30-second ad. So I don't want to give free publicity, but it's pretty funny. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Josh Pascal, defender of decay, because of the NIL laws changing, he was able to get paid for a dentist ad for a pediatric dentist in Kentucky. And it is a very, very funny video. So check it out. Well, guys, we got to get on out of here. Would you guys trade
real
back?
Quick, I saw Clayton ask this a couple times. Would I trade back? No, I'm already back. I'm already at 64. That's far enough back for me. We've got enough picks. What do we got? 8 or 9 picks. First pick at 64. We're already back. If anything else, I want to package a couple and move up a few spots. I want to get up into the 50s to make sure I get one of those guys I really like. Maybe Travis Jones is sitting on the board at 40 something. Maybe Devontae Wyatt's hanging around in there. One of those top guys. So I don't want to move back. If anything, I've been a proponent of moving back and everything, but we're already back. We are already back. So in this case, I wouldn't mind getting up into the 40 to 50 range if I could.
I don't mind moving back per se if it's moving back and getting a late pick with a 2023 pick. Right now, you only have 3 picks or 4 picks in 2023. You're gonna have to figure out something to get some picks there.
Yeah, but again, you're not looking to add 10 guys to this roster. You only need a couple of spots to fill out, really, where you could really have some guys help you this year. Otherwise, you're looking at practice squad guys. So I don't need more players. I need good players. I need quality over quantity at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You do want to fill out the roster though. You want quality, but with Russell Wilson's impending massive contract, you're going to have to fill out the roster with some cheap, cost-controlled guys. So that means probably later picks filling out because just, again, you don't have the volume in 2023, and you're also projected to get 0 compensatory picks next year.
But I could probably get some of those. If I'm just looking for, placeholders, I can get those guys as veteran free agent minimums also.
Yeah.
At that point. So, unless I think the guy, again, I don't think you're not going to have another 7 guys contribute this year from this draft class. It's going to be too tough, I think, to do. So I don't need to add just more bodies. I don't need to fill out my practice squad. So again, I if anything, I would look to move up a couple spots in this draft because I'm already back. I'm at 64.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see. Right now, Peyton keeps saying he wants to get 10 picks again every draft. So there's going to have to be some movements to get there. Not only this year, but
we could trade up.
Yeah.
Or we could trade up. He's leaving it all option. We'd like to have 10 picks every year. I'd like to have 40 picks every year.
Yeah. I want every first round.
Or we could move up. He's saying a lot of things. He's not back. He's not going to back himself into any corners. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we're backing ourselves into a corner here because time is running long, but we appreciate you guys. We're going to get on out of here. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Scout Kennedy and myself at Nick Kendell MHH. Also, make sure you're following us at Huddle Up Pod and at Mile High Huddle. If you are not a part of Facebook, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you have a Facebook and you're not listening to us on there, head to facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, as well as facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. Join our communities there. We stream live on there as well. You guys can communicate and just be a part of that community. It's a lot of fun. A lot of differing opinions on there. If you think Nick is a dumb bleep for talking about safety when there's other issues, then, go for it. Say that on there. That's okay. We can disagree. It's not personal. Also, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and share on that channel. And if you're listening after the fact, or you listen to podcasts in general, find us on Apple Podcasts, Mile High Huddle, Huddle Up Podcast, scroll down, give us a 5-star rating and review. And we'll be getting to those at some point. Probably it'll be after the draft, but want to roll through a bunch of those. And the more 5 stars we get, the better. So we appreciate you guys. Scott, what's the rest of your day looking like?
I don't know yet. Got some work to do, and then it's pretty quiet again with one of the kids sick, and it's actually spring break here, so we're home. I had planned on putting in a lot of work on the baseball field, but shoot, right now I'm just trying to get everybody moving again. The daughter keeps grabbing me to go outside and play basketball, which is kind of cool. She'll come down and say, "Can we go play basketball?" What am I going to say? No.
Yeah.
10-year-old walks into your office and says, "Can we go play?" You say yes.
Yeah. Definitely. That's I do miss shooting hoops with the old man. But guys, we're gonna get on out of here. Happy Monday. We will see you guys tomorrow morning again for another episode of Broncos for Breakfast. And make sure you're tuning in tonight for an episode of the Huddle Up podcast. Everyone stay safe, choose kindness, choose compassion. Go Broncos.